Hi everybody, I am Husky Light and welcome to my channel and thank you for stopping by. I've had to close my curtains because it's that hot and bright outside. When I turned my camera on there was just this really bright glare at me, so I couldn't do anything. So right, I'm going to talk about the throat chakra, signs of it opening, symptoms you can get while it's opening, the physical aspects of blockages that you've got there if it's not working properly, the emotional aspects of it not working properly, a little bit of my experience as my throat chakra was opening, and yeah, just a little bit about it to add to the other chakras that I've done. So this is your fifth chakra. It is about here on your neck, your throat, just below your throat here. It's the colour blue. It is all about sound. Obviously when you talk, when you express something, you are making you're making sounds, so that is what it relates to. It's also a sense of touch as well. And it's about purification. So, and it points to our glandular system. So these are our glands around here. So you know, if you've got a really bad sore throat, which is one of the problems of it being blocked sometimes, these swell up, these glands can just, if you sort of touch here, you can just feel one on either side, about here. I know if I get a sore throat, they just really sort of swell up and get really sore. So it sort of relates to all that. It also relates to thyroid gland, which again is it's a gland around here somewhere in the middle of your throat, and you can get glandular fever with that, and again it can cause a lot of problems when you're growing up. The throat chakra sort of develops, because each chakra that opens develops actually at a different age. It's around the age of 7 to 12 years old, and it's at that time when that should be opening up and it should be good, that you can express yourself in the way you want to express yourself, in a clear communicating manner. You can express your truth, you can express how you feel without fear of rejection. And you have a right to be able to express how you feel to anybody. Freedom of speech. You have all this, and to be able to speak up for yourself, and be able to speak up for yourself in a way that if you need something from somebody, then you actually have the ability to be able to ask for what you need. And one of the problems with it not opening properly, or these blockages, you can't ask for what you need and you can't communicate properly. So once all this is opened, you've got this wonderful expression about yourself, and you can communicate, you can express yourself in a truthful, honest way. You can tell people or loved ones what you need, by you have an ability to express your inner feelings as well, and you have an ability to be understood by others as well. I remember one of the problems I had when my throat chakra started to open. Nobody understood me. I would go into a shop and ask for something. I don't know, I'd go into the shop and I'd go into the chip shop and ask for some chips, French fries. And they'd just look at me as if to say, huh? And they would actually say, what did you just say? What did you just say? Huh? What? And I'd just stand there, and my son would be with me, and I'd have to repeat myself a couple of times to be actually understood. And it was the weirdest experience. I've never been through that before. And I actually went through that for, a good many weeks. And I'd come out of the shop and I'd say to my son, have I got a weird accent, or did it all come out garbled or something? Did I sound, you know, like you sound when you, I wasn't drunk, but you know that sound when you're drunk? I was like, was I slurring, or was I, what on earth was that all about? And he said, no, he sounded absolutely fine, but people would just not be able to get to understand what I was saying. And it was really annoying, because I used to look at the shopkeeper and think, are you daft? Are you really daft? I've just said it like twice now. Why can't you understand me? It's a really weird phenomenon. I can't say that word, and you're not going to understand me now. Phenomenon. Yeah, that word. Doesn't mean my throat chakra's not open. It just means I cannot say that one particular word. Phenomenon. That one. So yeah, that was a really weird experience, and I went through that for quite a while, where people just didn't understand me, and on the phone as well, people wouldn't, and it was like they were deliberately saying to me, or deliberately trying to get me annoyed by saying, I don't understand you. What? I was like, right, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. And I also did have an inability to ask for what I needed as well. I felt that I had no right to ask for what I needed of others around me, of my family and my loved ones. I just felt like I wasn't worthy of asking for anything that I needed or wanted, that my needs didn't matter. So that was another manifestation of that happening. So physical symptoms, as it's opening and coming up to clear, if you've got blockages, if it's not open properly, things that you can go through. You can get asthma. These are things that you can go to the doctors with, you know, and there is obviously other reasons for asthma, like smoking, like living in a bad environment where the air isn't clear or clean, not breathing well enough, having other lung problems. But these are physical things you can actually go to the doctor with, and it's physical. You can get tablets for it, you can get an inhaler for it, but it's also your chakras. It's also your chakras. People that watch it and go, well, no, hang on, if you can go to the doctors, then it's absolutely physical, and they can see it's physical, then it's got bugger all to do with your chakras. It's physical, it's part of your, but your chakras being blocked, your chakras not being open, whichever chakra it is going to cause problems. We have auras around us, and we have layers of auras, and the physical problems will actually start on the outer aura of ours. It's not touched our physical body yet, but the worse it gets, the more blocked we are. It gradually moves through our layers. I think we've got 7 auric layers around us. It will move through each layer until it eventually hits our physical body, and then it will start to cause problems, physical, real problems. So anybody that says, oh, it can't be that if you've had to go, it is. It's just that it started on the outside and it's worked its way in. Everything is connected. I don't believe for a second when somebody says they don't believe in chakras or anything else. Just because you cannot physically see a chakra inside your body does not mean it's not there at all. And they are so important, and anybody who has been through an awakening or going through it knows, is testament to the fact of how important it is. And once you've awakened, once you're on the other side of the awakening, and then you can look back before you awoke, like me not being understood in shops and things like that, you can see the problems that it caused. You can see all that as you look back on it, and you think, wow, how can something that you can't see cause so many problems? But it can. So you can get tinnitus in your ears, which is that it's either a ringing or a whining or a really high-pitched noise, and you're like this trying to get it out your ears, and you're trying to stop it. And it, for some people, a friend of my son has got it. He's had it for years. It's awful, bless him. And I wish I could go up and say to my son, go and tell your best friend to get his throat chakra opened, and that'll help his tinnitus. But of course, they're young men and they've got they've got other things to deal with, and if you don't believe in this sort of thing, if you don't understand it, it means nothing to you. Sorry, but I'm not even going to bother trying to get him to do that, because he'll just look at me and go, and then he won't understand me either. So we've got thyroid problems, we've got tinnitus, tonsillitis, that little bag at the back. If you open your mouth really wide, I'm not going to show you the back of my mouth. I've still got my tonsils. You have a tonsil, and it's like a little bag of flesh, really, that looks like a little teardrop right at the back of your throat, and it's meant to catch debris and particles in the air and bits of dust and everything, and stop it going down your throat into your lungs as you're breathing. And sometimes that can get really inflamed. You end up having to have your tonsils out and removed because it's got infected. You can get a lot of repressed anger inside you because you feel that you are not worthy of speaking what your needs are, speaking what you need from other people. It can make you very angry inside, and all this anger just keeps getting pushed down and pushed down and pushed down, and the anger gets worse and worse and worse. And you can also get to the point, I think I've said this in one of my other videos, that point where you get so angry, I mean to the point where you actually cannot speak anymore, and the words don't come out because you're so angry. I think that is one of the symptoms as well, with your root chakra not being able to communicate properly as well. But I remember years ago with my little girl's father getting so angry with him on the phone. We were having a screaming match down the phone, and I got so angry I just went down the phone at him. I could not speak, I couldn't get a word out. It was totally debilitating, I just couldn't get a word out. I was so angry. And I know I'm not the only one. I know it's happened to a lot of people in the past, and that is also one of the symptoms. Being humiliated as well, getting really, really embarrassed really easily can be another symptom. And feeling guilty about everything you've said, everything you've done, every action that you've ever taken, and just feeling this immense guilt about it is another physical symptom. That's guilt is one of the most awful things to feel, feeling guilty about doing something, and to carry that around with you if you've got a blockage or it's not open properly. It's just the most awful feeling. Right, moving on to the emotional side of things, and emotional things that you are very likely to feel when there's a problem. You cannot cope with everyday life. You're running around like a headless chicken. You cannot multitask. You cannot complete. So you've got 3 things to do today. You just can't complete them. It's like there's not enough time in the day, and you'll get half a job done and maybe a little bit of the other, or maybe none at all, because you plan to do them, but then you just cannot get those things done. That's another, that's an emotional side of things, and just having this immense feeling that I cannot cope. It's all overwhelming, and no matter what I need to do in the day, I cannot get it completed, I cannot get it done. Wanting to hit somebody, being that angry that you physically just want to clout somebody, can be another symptom. And if you're getting symptoms like that, then obviously, and especially, well, it's bad enough for male or female, but I suppose for a male, that is when abuse can come in families, and domestic abuse, domestic violence, because they're getting that angry and they cannot express themselves, they cannot make the other person understand them, and it gets to the point where they think they just get that urge, they just want to smack somebody really hard to try and get some. I'm sorry, because you're getting really hot on my knee. to get some sort of understanding, to get the point across. That's the only thing they can think of doing. So that's another emotional side of it, and that's quite a dangerous emotional side of things. As I say, that causes a lot of breakups, a lot of divorces in people's lives, and so much disruption and pain, not only the person who's being abused, but also the person who is abusing, because they know it's not right to abuse somebody, and they've got all this repressed anger, and they don't do it deliberately. They can't control themselves at all. Severe dislike of self, severe not liking yourself, not loving yourself, not respecting yourself. If you've got the urge to want to go and hit somebody, you've got no respect for yourself whatsoever. Little outbursts of anger. So you're toddling along happily all day, and suddenly you go rah, at everybody and just completely crack. Is another symptom. Incessant talking. I don't know if that's a good symptom or a bad symptom, because I do incessant talking sometimes, but my throat chakra's open. But I have to do incessant talking sometimes because I do this channel. But incessant talking in a way that is not practical. You are literally just spouting rubbish and nobody's listening to you. Or you will actually start talking to yourself. If you've got nobody else to talk to, you'll be in the car talking to yourself, you'll be walking around the house talking to yourself. Now, we all do that to a certain extent, don't get me wrong. I will walk around the house going and look at my watch and think, I've got to go and pick up my daughter soon, or I've got to go and do the shopping, or, oh, don't let me forget to get toilet roll while I'm, something. But when you're incessantly talking to yourself, and there's nobody else around listening to you, then that's obviously a little bit of a problem. Emotionally, that's something that needs to be sorted out as well. The inability to say yes or no to anything. Sitting on the fence, not being able to make a decision about anything. Also being a complete people pleaser. As in, you're doing things to please other people, you are working yourself to the bone, you're working yourself tirelessly to please another person. You don't actually enjoy pleasing this other person, you don't actually enjoy doing things for this other person. You are getting nothing in return. It's not a give and take relationship, in whatever sort of relationship it is, whether it's work or personal, family. It's just like you've turned it into this complete slave, where you just give. I'll tie your shoelaces for you, I'll go wash your bottom for you. That sort of just slave mentality. There's nothing coming back to you. There's no thank you coming back to you. There's no go and put your feet up, let me do something for you for a change. There's none of that. It's just give. And you're not happy about doing it. You've not got that satisfaction of doing it. You just feel that that's all you're good for. You're just a slave and you just have to do it. And that's the way it is. And that's the way it's always been. And that's quite a nasty side effect of things not opening properly for you. Feeling victimised, being a victim in those sort of circumstances. There is a lot of domestic abuse cases, domestic violence, divorce cases, and a lot of the arguments that are all caused by problems with the throat chakra and the ability to be able to express yourself properly, to be honest not only with yourself but with other people, to be able to say, I need this from you, I really need this from you at the moment, I am tired, I need to go and have a rest, I need you to do this for yourself, and I need you to respect me for that. I need you to appreciate the fact that I'm trying to love myself and I need to go and have a rest. There's none of that, and I think that causes an awful lot of problems. It's probably half the reason for divorce. And these poor women, that end up in hostels and halfway houses, domestic abuse sanctuaries across the world because of this sort of problem that's going on. I myself, when my little girl, she's 11 now, she was only 6 months old, and I ended up in a women's hostel with her because my chakra wasn't opened. I was in a domestic abuse situation, not domestic violence, mental abuse, complete mental abuse, and I ended up in a hostel because I could not stand up for myself. I couldn't say what I needed. I couldn't show any strength. I couldn't control my feelings towards the situation, and I had no idea how to stop it, how to communicate properly, how to calm the situation, anything. And it ended up I ended up in a hostel for quite a while. So what else have we got here? Yeah, not being assertive enough, basically. Not being assertive enough. Not breathing properly. Again, that comes up in regard to a lot of our chakras being blocked. Our sacral chakra, our heart chakra. If we're not breathing properly, if we're not taking in enough oxygen, that causes so many problems. So many problems. You're not getting enough oxygen in. There's not enough oxygen going to your cells, to your organs. That causes illnesses. It's a lot of disruption. A lot of disruption. So with the throat chakra, it's quite a serious one, really. It's very serious if it's blocked or it's not open properly. That inability to be able to speak your mind, that inability to be able to let out feelings, to be able to let out frustration, let out anger, and the fact that it all has to build up inside you is really very disruptive in a lot of people's lives. So, but when it's open, and as I said at the beginning, everything's good, it's open, it's clear, there is clear communication, there is truth, and speak your truth from your heart, comes through your throat chakra. You've got the assertiveness, you've got the inner strength, you are understood in a clear way, you are able to ask for what you need, you're not a people pleaser. You get nothing from being a people pleaser. We always talk about being charitable, helping others, being a service to others, always, because if somebody needs help, and the fact we're all light workers, then yes, of course we're going to go and help them. But if you were to do that day after day after day, with nobody doing anything for you, for nobody caring about your feelings, for nobody respecting you, and it's just the most awful thing, one of the most awful things in the world, I think. So it is an extremely open, I'm getting my words mixed up now, it's an extremely important chakra to know yourself and to be able to speak your truth. So little doggy's got back on me. Look at this, she had a bath yesterday. Come here, look. Yeah, no, I don't want kisses because that's gross. I love you, but we don't want kisses. This is the one that was rolling about on the settee yesterday trying to look cute, and I think she actually pulled it off. I think you pulled it off. I think you did a very good job of looking cute, didn't you? Yes. Right. Namaste, blessings and light. Put your comments below. Tell me if there's something I've not mentioned that you've been through while your throat chakra was opening, the experiences that maybe you've had while it was blocked. Something I've been through already on here, or maybe something that I've not mentioned that I haven't been through myself. Hopefully this will help you to recognise some of these symptoms. If you're getting some of these emotional or physical symptoms, it'll help you to think there's a problem here. And again, the key is to meditate, to go inside yourself, to get calm, concentrate on clearing it as much as possible and finding that inner peace and happiness. Once we've got that inner peace and happiness, that chaos around us calms down and the chaos within yourself starts to clear as well. So namaste, blessings and light, and I will speak to you soon. I really hope this helps. Thank you.